If you stand up from sitting and your hamstring feel like steel cable, it may not be a flexibility issue. What ends up happening is that your hamstring tightness after sitting for a long period of time is happening as a result of short muscles that are in place, and it's about improper mechanics and lack of proper muscle activation. So let me explain to you what's going on here. When you're sitting down for a long time and you're not sitting in the right place in your pelvis, you end up with a posterior pelvis, meaning your tailbone is tucked under you. When that happens, you're actually asking your hamstrings to be stuck in a shortened state, which then means your glutes will not be activated, and that gives that feedback loop. So it's an ongoing feeding of the problem. What has to happen is you got to change the behavior that's creating this environment. That behavior changes with how you sit. You should be sitting on your sit bone, on the floor or on the chair, it doesn't matter. So where is your sit bone? In this model, this is where the sit bone is. Your sit bone, when you sit on your sit bone, you're not sitting on the back of the pelvis and the perineum, which is a huge problem and something that I see with pelvic floor dysfunction patients, as well as people with short hamstrings and back issues as side joint issues, short hamstring as a presentation. So your sit bone is a lot closer to the front than you realize. What you can do is actually place your hand and find your sit bone on both sides. So I'm going to move back here so you can see better. And so I'm right now sitting on my sit bone. I can be tilted forward or backward. So explore how different type of positioning of sitting is going to change your position of the pelvis over the sit bone. Now I can remove my hands and still stay on my sit bone. I just wanted you to feel what that feels like. One of the things that you want to consider is how long you're sitting. A great idea is to make sure that you go from seated position to a standing up position every 30 to 60 minutes. That will allow your hamstring to practice different lengths that it has to offer. And it's not always about tight hamstring, it's what comes with the tight hamstring. When your hamstring is tight, it cannot perform its job, and certain positions, certain movements require the length of that muscle fiber to be longer than it can offer. So what ends up happening is your body starts using other parts, other muscles to make up for what's not happening. This is the beginning of dysfunctional patterns of movement and a decline in many things, including your posture. So isolating your hamstring to stretch, or thinking you should go and strengthen and do glute workout is not how you do it. What you should do instead is bring proper mechanics of movement into the place. What I'm telling you is 100% opposite of what you're hearing most likely. What I'm suggesting is work on placing the proper mechanics, and when that happens, then with repetition and applying those principles across all activities that you do, you build strength. Listen, you were born as a baby, you could barely hold your head up, forget about stabilizing your pelvis or your body, and through series of movements, you became stabilized and you became functional and balanced enough that you started walking. In fact, what you did is the same exact thing I did and every walking human being on the planet Earth does. So that means we're hardwired to do it this way. That means our body parts know exactly what their job is if you provide the right environment. And that means that is the manual of movement. So we don't need to go and reinvent the methodology. We just bring that method, the developmental exercises, into the picture, to then bring proper mechanics. When you do movements like that, when you hold forms like developmental exercises, every part of your body is asked to do what was created to do. And the part of your body, in this case your hamstring, that has shortened state is going to stay short, but the rest of your body maintains its position, accommodating the shortened hamstring fiber. They don't change their position, they just decreased how far they go to accommodate the short muscle. Over time, this short hamstring, which was a compensation for a lot of things that were not happening, and a compensation due to your method of living, like how often you get up, you sit, etc. When all of those come together, it all materializes into the result that you want. So the fix is developmental exercises to bring the mechanics back in place, and you want to learn how to do these things properly. You want to breathe biologically. If you don't know how that's done, by the way, this means you have not subscribed to my channel to have met me before doing biological breathing. So make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you turn that notification bell on, so that way every time I post a video, you get to see it. Listen, I'm providing the information for you so you can take control of your destiny in future using the, basically when it comes to movement. But make sure you do your part. Subscribe to the channel. Back to biological breathing. Biological breathing is what needs to be in place in order for you to even have a chance to change your dysfunctional patterns of movement leading to shortened hamstring. There are so many different things that need to be in place. I have done toe tapping, which is what you did as a baby. We're going to make sure that we put a video showing you how toe tapping is done. But there are things that need to be in place. In order for you, the least of your problem is shortened hamstring. The most of your problem has to do with the disintegration of every function of your body when it comes to movement. So that needs to stop. If you need help understanding how to tackle this, to understand what right looks like, what your version is, and how to replace yours with the right, make sure you use one of the methods of contact in the description box below to contact my office to understand how to go about doing this. Once you understand what principles of movement are, once you understand what your natural tendencies, default movements are, you hold the solution to all of your joint stability and movement related issues going forward. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take care.